so much news to get into today. I have so many videos to share, so many different stories about this ongoing fire in LA. There are now 3 current fires going on that aren't very far from each other, but they are growing in size by the hour, and it is getting worse and worse by the moment. So far, there hasn't been a lot of injuries, but people are beginning to get trapped. They're beginning to get injured. From what I have read, there have been a few casualties from this event, and it's just getting worse by the moment. So let's just go ahead and jump into this article by LA Times. Fire hydrants have now ran dry as the Pacific Palisades burned. LA city officials blame tremendous demand. I don't blame the tremendous demand. I blame our government. As wildfires raged across Los Angeles on Tuesday, crews battling the Palisades blaze faced an additional burden. Scores of fire hydrants in the Pacific Palisades had little to no water flowing out. The hydrants are down, said one firefighter in an internal radio communication. Water supply just dropped. By 3 a.m. Wednesday, all water storage tanks in the Palisades area went dry, diminishing the flow of water from hydrants in higher elevations, said Janice Quinones, chief executive and chief engineer of the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, the city's utility. We had a tremendous demand on our system in the Palisades. We pushed the system to the extreme. 4 times the normal demand was seen for 15 hours straight, which lowered our water pressure. By the DWP, and the city leaders faced significant criticism on social media from residents as well as from developer Rick Caruso, who owns Palisades Village Mall in the heart of the West Side neighborhood. Caruso, a former commissioner for the DWP, blasted the city for infrastructure that struggled to meet firefighting demands. So before I continue on with the story, I've long complained about this. We have many different things that could have fixed this, that could have solved this. I have a lot of windows up right now, so it's going to take a moment to load, but I believe I clicked the correct one. Please be the right one. Nope, not the right one. Great. Okay, well, no, it's this one. My bad. My computer is very slow. I apologize. But what I'm trying to say is, in 2014, we voted in California. As a Californian, I wasn't able to vote at the time, but we voted as Californians to increase our water supply. In 2014, Californians overwhelmingly, I didn't click that. Okay. In 2014, Californians overwhelmingly voted to spend billions on water storage and reservoirs. Gavin Newsom still hasn't built it. I don't just blame Gavin Newsom. It's the entire state government. This has been since 2014. We are now 11 years on. We gave them $8 billion to build this water reservoir, and it hasn't even begun construction. It would be great to have that right about now. I'm sure all those people that have their houses burning and businesses burning would have loved to have those water reservoirs, not to mention the lack of forestry cleanup. We don't do any cleanup in this state. We get fires here all the time, and it's not just because we're in a drought. It's also because the federal government, or not the federal government, the state government, sorry, refuses to go and clear out the brush. We have massive mountains. You can make the drive from where I live down to LA, and you'll see just mountains of dry brush waiting to be sparked and lit. So it's complete. This all completely falls on the state government. The absolute waste in our state government is egregious. Gavin Newsom should not get away with this. He's causing more and more issues by the day, it seems. Let me go back to that story. I just wanted to rant about that for a moment, because that is absolutely ridiculous. We should not be running out of water, regardless of if we're in a drought or not. These people's homes are being burned, and now firefighters can't do anything about it. Absolutely not. There's no justification. There's nothing you can tell me that will justify that. There's no water in the hydrants, Caruso said with exasperation. Through Tuesday night, he expressed similar criticism in a series of live interviews on local TV. The firefighters are there in the neighborhood, and there's nothing they can do. We've got neighborhoods burning, homes burning, and businesses burning. It should never happen. I completely agree. With the winds, this is unprecedented wind. A lot of people are saying, oh, California gets wind like this all the time. Yes, we do get pretty bad winds, but this is abnormally bad. This is definitely worse than we typically get it. So it's just making all the fires even worse. I saw reporting yesterday that some of the embers are traveling up to a mile. So extremely dangerous situation. I hope people are paying attention because you may need to evacuate. There's a lot of people being evacuated right now, and you need to evacuate. If you stay behind, you are going to spread resources thin. We need people focusing on the fire. We do not need them focusing on saving you because you wanted to stay behind and save your home. Because you are not going to be able to stop this. If this fire comes to your home, you are not going to be able to stop it. You being there is just going to put yourself in harm's way and put other people in harm's way trying to save you. Please evacuate to somewhere safe. LA City Council member Tracy Park, who represents Pacific Palisades and participated with Quinno's on Wednesday news conference, also asserted her fury over the DWP's water supply issue. The chronic underinvestment in the city of Los Angeles in our public infrastructure and our public safety partners was evident and on full display over the last 24 hours, Park said. I am extremely concerned about this. I'm already working with my team to take a closer look at this, and I think we've got more questions than answers at this point. Gavin Newsom, in an interview, or not an interview, in a press conference, was asked directly about a state audit that happened recently. We have 24 billion with a B missing. We don't know where it went. It was supposed to go to homelessness, but meanwhile, homelessness has only gone up, and we have homeless people. There's videos of that going. I don't have the video pulled up, but we have videos of homeless people starting fires just out in the streets. Now, we don't know what caused this specific fire or the other two fires, but stuff like that is something to point out because fires happen very easily in California when there's no water and we don't clean up the area where there's brush and debris. So that's absolutely ridiculous. Gavin Newsom needs to be removed from office immediately. He is dangerous for the state. He is absolutely dangerous for the state. He's destroying this state. The absolute mismanagement in government here, people need to be held to account. After this fire is taken care of, people need to be held to account. This is not okay. Before the fire, all 114 tanks that supply the city water infrastructure were completely filled. Quinno said that the hydrants in the Palisades rely on 3 large water tanks with about 1 million gallons each. The first ran dry at 4:45 p.m. Tuesday, the second at 8:30 p.m., and the third was dry by 3 a.m. So we only have, for this massive city, we only have 3 water tanks. When in 2014, we planned on building massive water reservoirs, they just never got built. Instead, Gavin Newsom's been wasting our money and federal money to build a high-speed train that is failing. He doesn't even have a prototype. He's just absolutely terrible for the state, and I don't know how people are okay with him running the state. Do you not see what he's doing to the state? Look at these fires. Look at homelessness. Look at the money he's wasting on the train, and I can go on and on and on all day about this guy. And it's not just him, it's just everyone in government in this state. This state is falling apart because of your government, people. You need to remove them from office. In this next election, you need to remove them from office. And if we can, we need to recall him. We need to get him out of there as soon as possible by any means necessary. Without violence, of course. I will never advocate for violence. Peaceful means only. Those tanks help with the pressure of the fire hydrants in the hills of the Palisades, and because we're pushing so much water in our tank line and so much water was being used, we were not able to fill the tanks fast enough. So the consumption of water was faster than we can provide the water in the trunk in a trunk line. So if you've never been to LA or the Palisades, it is a very mountainous city. There's mountains everywhere. California is just mountain, mountain, mountain. So you need that water pressure in order to get it up the mountains. So we don't have that now, and now the firefighters are just basically having to watch this stuff burn. We can't get helicopters in the air. We can't get airplanes in the air because of the smoke and because of the wind. In other words, the demand for the water at lower elevations was hampering the ability to refill the tank located at higher elevations because of the ongoing fire. DWP crews also faced difficulty accessing its pump stations, which are used to move water up to the tanks. The utility on Wednesday was sending 20 tanks with water to support firefighters in the Palisades, and the tankers were having to reload at other distant locations. We are constantly moving the water to the fire department to get them as much water as they can. So then they have a picture of the fire here, which I'll be pulling up a map of that in just a moment. It's unclear how widespread the hydrant issues were. In November, the lack of water from hydrants hurt the effort to combat the mountain fire in Ventura County when 2 water pumps became inactive, slowing the process to deliver the hillside. So this isn't even the first time it's happened. This is an ongoing issue in California. We have a water shortage. We need water storage. We voted to have one built. We had money allocated for it to be built. No one knows where that money went. No one knows what happened to the project. It never got started. And it seems like an ongoing issue, and it seems like that happens a lot in this state. People are lining their pockets with your money after you vote, and they're not improving this state. That's the only explanation. Crusoe, who evacuated Tuesday from his home in Brentwood, said his daughter's home was destroyed in the blaze, and his family was waiting to hear if one of his sons had also lost his home. Crusoe said in an interview that several homes around his Palisades Village shopping center were fully engulfed in flames, and his shopping center, which opened in 2018, has suffered damage. On Wednesday morning, scores of buildings and homes in the Palisades were reduced to ash and rubble. We are feeling the very personal effects of this, he said. Time staff writers Terry Castleman and Ian James contributed to this report. So absolutely devastating what's going on in California right now. Let me go ahead and show you guys a picture of where these fires are at. And of course my page is going to reload. I apologize for that. I don't have the best equipment. I'm working with what I got. If this would load, that would be great. Absolutely devastating what's going on there. I hope everyone is staying safe. I hope you're listening to evacuation orders. Do not stay behind. I have a video of a woman talking about staying behind to protect her parents' home. Do not do that. As much as you want to do that, I understand the sentiment, but please save what you can and get out. It is not safe. It is not safe to be there right now. So let me go ahead and pull this up here. So this is where the fires are going on right now. If I could zoom in here, I'm having to use my mouse pad. So look, you can see this. This is the main fire that people are talking about. This is literally inside Los Angeles. This is the mountains between San Fernando and Los Angeles. And this fire is just massive, absolutely massive. Let me zoom in a little bit more here. This is the area that is affected. And then we have multiple other fires that are now sprouting up in the area. If you look over here, Pasadena now has a massive fire as well. This is the Pasadena fire, I believe. Oh, there we go. Yep, approximate fire location. This is no other information on that. Hopefully they can get that one under control, but we also have one over here, over by Santa Clarita. So multiple fires are sprouting up now because of the winds and because of the lack of management when it comes to debris. It's so easy for fires to spread in this state because the government doesn't do anything to mitigate that, to mitigate those risk factors. Now, I have multiple other stories to get into if I could pull them up. I'm not exactly what order they're in, so we'll just go through them as they come at us. So let me look at this post here. So this is Rick Caruso says there's zero water coming out of the fire hydrants. Mayor Bass is in Ghana. So let's go ahead and play this video here.
Their homes. My heart goes out, obviously, to the people with their homes, and I'm watching the small businesses around us go up in flames. This is people's livelihoods, so it's devastating. But what is most concerning to me is our first responders and our firefighters who are trying to battle this. There's no water in the Palisades. There's no water coming out of the fire hydrants. This is an absolute mismanagement by the city. It's not the firefighters' fault, but it's by the city. And I'm going to be very honest. We've got a mayor that's out of the country, and we've got a city that's burning, and there's no resources to put out fires. So if you look at your pictures, you don't see the firefighters there because there's nothing they can do. And it looks like we're in a third world country here. Mm-hmm. And we've got a lot of tough questions that we need to ask the mayor and the city council and our representatives and the county representatives.
There must be repercussions for this. There has to be repercussions for this. They cannot get away with this. This is absolute mismanagement by our government, who is supposed to protect us. This is all on them. This is all on the state government.
Controlled by the city and the county. I would bet you that if they haven't been handled, mitigated, pruned, removed for probably 30 or 40 years. This is a disaster waiting to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And what's predictable is preventable. And who's paying the price are all of these people in their homes and their businesses tonight. Now, we'll rebuild, but the majority of this community is going to have a tough time rebuilding their lives.
No, it's absolutely devastating what is going on in California right now. I feel for everybody there. This should have never gotten to this point. This should never have risen to this point. This is absolutely devastating. And I blame the state government fully. I have family that is likely there now fighting this fire, and I hope and pray for their safety as well as everyone else in this situation. The Palisades fire moved in so quickly that evacuees panicked. Every car represents someone or a family that in fear abandoned their cars and fled on foot. The wind could reach 100 miles per hour tonight. So that was yesterday, before the fire had reached its where it's at now. But there were people having to abandon their cars on the road because the fire was encroaching so quickly. What people don't realize is that the car is not going to protect you from a fire that massive and burning that hot. You can also get smoke inhalation and you can burn alive in your car. It is not safe to be there, and it is a lot smarter to abandon your car at that point. And you can see a lot of these cars are pushed to the side and crashed into each other and stuff. That is because they were bulldozed, and I completely understand why they were bulldozed. They needed to get emergency services through, and a lot of people abandoned their cars, so they had to bulldoze through the cars. It is what it is. People's lives are at stake, so it had to happen. I hope everyone is safe. I hope everyone is paying attention to what's going on. Save what you can. Be prepared to evacuate. We don't know when this is going to end. And I'm not trying to fearmonger. That's just a reality at this point. The wind is not as bad as it was last night, but it is still pretty bad. And the fire can still get worse, especially when there's not water coming out of the hydrants and we can't get airplanes and stuff in the sky. So we have this also from X. Insurance policies were dropped before the LA fires. So this also happened recently. We have this interview from a woman. So let me go ahead and play this here.
And they just they got canceled from their fire insurance. So they're dealing with this. They're 90 years old. And
so what she's talking about, and this isn't just her, multiple people are now reporting that a week or two ago that their insurance company had dropped them for fire insurance. So these companies knew the risk, and they took action to protect themselves. They didn't know that this particular fire was going to happen, but they knew for sure that a fire would happen and was likely to happen. So not only are the insurance companies now need to be held to account, but the state government needs to be held to account as well. This is unacceptable, and the insurance companies, if they knew the risk, they should have been going to the state government like, hey, why don't you help us mitigate that risk?
I live in Sierra Madre. My parents are in Sierra Madre, but...
And now you know that it is under evacuation as well north of Sierra Madre Boulevard.
Yeah, I snuck here. You know, there's a will, there's a way. Probably shouldn't do it, but you know what? Under the circumstances, send me to jail. That's fine.
It is unbelievable what's happening.
No, she should not have done that. She should not have snuck in. I don't know what she's going to do to protect the house. Like, I get you're trying to protect your family's house, but you being there is just putting yourself and others in danger. Because now when firefighters have to come rescue you, assuming the fire does get closer, now you're diverting resources. Those firefighters are now having to save you instead of fighting the fire. So don't do that. Do not be this person. She should be taking what she needs out of that house, the important things, photos, memories, stuff like that, loading them into her car or however she got there, and getting out of there. She should not be there staying in the house with this ongoing blaze.
I mean, I have a hose.
You have a hose, but what if the water runs out?
Neighbors that I've known. I was born and raised in this house, and I live in Sierra Madre, and I'm now 62 years old. And this is the house I was born and raised in, and I've never moved out of Pasadena, Sierra Madre, Hastings Ranch.
Well, let me tell you, it does help for people who aren't here to know what's happening. So you sharing that story, it does a service. I came up to you without even asking your name.
My name is Lynn Levin Guzman. This is the Levin household.
So absolutely just devastating story. We have other people reporting as well, similar stories where their insurance has dropped them. They don't have coverage now. Absolutely unacceptable. This whole thing is it's just getting worse. There's so many stories. I have so many things to get through. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I have more to get through. So a lot of people are just sharing her interview, but there's other people reporting the same thing as well. It is not just her. So let me get this tweet up. I apologize for my computer. I did have everything preloaded, but it likes to reload sometimes when I have a lot of things going on. So we also have this from Airbnb, from a Twitter account named Anna Mustarok. It doesn't look like the images want to load. But essentially what she's saying here, there we go, is she booked an Airbnb and she tried to contact customer support over it. And they said that it does not meet the, what is it? We're sorry to hear that you won't be able to make your upcoming reservation with Alona. Unfortunately, the cancellation is not covered under our major disruptive events policy. For more information about this policy, you can be found here. This means that your host's strict cancellation policy will apply. More details and host cancellation policies can be found here. So she tried to rebook or move where she was going to be staying. So she was going to be staying literally in the area of the fire. And, Airbnb, being the great company that it is, said, yeah, you can shove it, basically, because they don't care. So absolutely terrible. Another terrible story coming out of this. I don't know if she's the only person, but definitely a terrible story nonetheless. I wanted to add or include. And then I believe going into this here, we have more videos and stuff. Dozens of frail elderly people are evacuated from a senior center in Southern California due to the Palisades fire and now appear to be stranded on the side of the road. So hopefully I didn't see any updates about this. Hopefully they were brought somewhere safe.
That you're used to seeing. I live here. I come to the Palisades, and now I'm seeing buildings that I've driven by for years no longer exist. Right over there, one of the shishiest shopping malls in LA, and there've been little spot fires popping up around that. So far that has not gone up.
Thankfully I live far enough away to where I likely won't need to worry about any of this, but I still frequent LA, and this is just absolutely sad to watch. I feel for these people. A lot of people in California don't share the same politics that I do, but nonetheless, we share humanity. That is the one common thing. And I don't want to sound cheesy, but I feel for these people. I don't want to see people hurt just because they disagree with me. We have this video from this guy. The fire is burning directly around his house. He's trapped in his home.
Just be okay. You're gonna be okay. All right? You're gonna be okay.
So just because he's in the house does not mean he's safe. He can likely feel that fire.
Don't worry about that, dude.
It's like it would be like sitting in front of a fire pit. That fire is burning way hotter than your normal fireplace or fire pit. It is massive. You can see how tall they're getting. Those flames are taller than his house. So he can absolutely feel that through his windows. He's not safe in his house. And, I don't know the circumstances exactly of how he found himself trapped here, but hopefully he is okay. Hopefully he makes it out okay, and everyone in his household makes it out okay. Absolutely insane. It looks like, it looks like a horror movie. Absolutely insane. And then one more video here. Oh, I forgot to pause that last one. One more video here, and then I'll end it there. Just absolute devastation. This is the last thing I wanted to share. This was a photo from this morning. Oh, it took it off. Computer is being very slow. There we go. So this is LA. I thought it was I thought this would be a good little video to end on. You can see the smoke just wafting over the state.
Living here for 6 years. There's so much smoke that it is blocking the sun. You can actually see it.
Yeah, this looks like something out of a movie. It's absolutely devastating. And what I want to end on is Gavin Newsom needs to be held responsible for this. The public officials, the mayors, anyone involved in managing the city needs to be held accountable for this. This is not okay. People's lives will be destroyed from this. Like that woman was saying, her family had that house for 75 years. Now they no longer have insurance. There's no water to fight the fires. Their firefighters are very limited in what they can do at this moment, and it is absolutely devastating. I hold the state government fully responsible for this situation. I don't care how the fire was started. They are responsible for the level that it has risen to. Absolutely unacceptable. And for those that live in California and in the LA area, please stay focused on what is going on. Keep your family safe, keep your belongings safe. But if you can't keep your belongings safe, at the very least, keep you and your family safe. The belongings can be replaced, you and your family cannot. So do what you can. Pay attention to the evacuation orders. Make sure you're somewhere safe. Absolutely devastating what's going on. And after this fire, we need to regroup and we need to go against the government. We need to make them know that this is not acceptable. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to support what I do. I make daily YouTube videos discussing the news and ongoing events in the world, political or cultural. If there's events that I missed or news stories you want me to cover, please contact me on Twitter or in the comment section below. I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. And seriously, I don't care about your political beliefs or anything like that. Seriously, please stay safe. Please evacuate when told to do so. We don't want to see people losing their lives unnecessarily from this. And I'll leave it there. Thank you guys so much.